Hi, I'm Tony Van Veen, CEO of Tishmakers. Welcome to the second installment of our three-part video series about selling vinyl and what it takes to recoup your vinyl investment. In part one, I did the math on how many records you'll need to sell in order to make back the cost of vinyl pressing. We've put a link in the top comment below. If you haven't seen that video yet, it's worth watching. In this video, I'll discuss what your vinyl margins are when you sell through various sales channels. Sorry for the industry lingo, that's what it's called. We'll compare margins when you sell your records at your concert versus on Bandcamp or at a local record shop or through traditional distribution. And we'll dive into exactly how much of your selling price each of these players eats up. And then in my third video, and we'll post a link below when that one's live, I'll give you some surefire tips on what you can do as an artist to pretty much guarantee that you'll sell enough records to cover your manufacturing cost. Okay, let's dive in, shall we? In our first video, we decided that we were going to place a starter order of 100 records. Total cost $1,169, all in, including shipping, and we were going to sell those records for $25 a piece. And we figured that when you sell your vinyl at concerts, which most independent artists do and how they move most of their vinyl, you'll make a profit of over $13 on each record you sell, a 53% profit margin, which means you'll need to sell just 47 records to make back the full cost of pressing your 100 records. And of course, you'll still have the remaining 53 records left to sell. And that if you sell all of them at $25, you will make a profit of over $1,300 on your vinyl pressing. The economics are the same if you sell on your own website, if it's hosted by a company like Bandzoogle, who doesn't take a sales commission. Of course, many independent artists have their own Bandcamp page where they sell their music. Bandcamp is a great store, and they do charge a modest 10% commission on physical sales, plus they take a 4 to 7% credit card processing fee, depending on the size of the transaction. So let's say that all in it costs you 15% to sell on Bandcamp, so instead of netting $25 from a record sold, you will net $21.25. That still leaves you with a very healthy 38% profit margin on every record sold. Per our example, a profit of over $9.50 per record. Many artists also want to sell some records directly at a local indie record store. You know, you go in, you talk to the owner or the manager, you leave some records for consignment sale. You won't get paid up front, but most stores will take a record from a local artist on the chance that a local fan will walk in and want to buy it. A record store typically takes a 35% margin on every sale. So if you sell your record for $25, their cut is $8.75, which leaves you with $16.25 per record, which means a more modest 18% profit margin for you, a bit over $4.50 a record. But of course, record store sales are all incremental. They're a net plus over and above what you would sell at your concerts. Plus, if those records don't sell on consignment, you can always pick them back up and sell them at your concerts for full margin. Finally, there is traditional distribution. And I'll tell you flat out right now, it's hard to get into a physical media distributor as a relatively unknown emerging artist. That distributor will want to see a track record that records they stock will actually sell through. If you don't have that track record to show them, good luck getting in based on your charms and good looks. If you're able to get your record into a traditional distributor, the margins get really, really tight because the distributor's got to eat and the record store's got to eat as well. So let's do the math real quick. You sell your record for $25, and as I just mentioned, the record store takes 35% or $8.75. That leaves you with $16.25 per record. The distributor might work on 13%, so they take another $3.25. That leaves you with $13 per record sold. If you paid $11.69, that leaves you a bit over $1 in margin per record sold, if you can get physical distribution in the first place. So if all you're doing is pressing 100 records, forget about traditional distribution. Sell your product at your concerts, on your website and on your Bandcamp page, and maybe a few on consignment at local record stores. But if you're a more established band with a built-in fan base, obviously pressing larger quantities makes your per record cost cheaper, which changes the economics of selling records completely. 200 records at disc makers net out, with freight included, to about $8.80 a piece. 300 are about $7.60. Larger orders are even less. At those quantities, your margins selling at concerts get as high as 70%. And even through distribution, you can make a decent margin. So, if you sell most of your records at concerts, you'll need to sell around 50 records to cover your cost of pressing 100. If you sell a mix of concerts and website and Bandcamp and store consignment, you may need to sell a couple more copies. And if you don't perform live, then hopefully this video helped you figure out your margins from selling through all these other sales channels. You can calculate the size of your mailing list and your social following, and you can gauge whether you'll likely have enough of a fan base to sell the 55 or 60 records it'll take to cover your cost. So that's it for today. In my next video, I will talk about how you'll sell those records. I'll offer a few simple things that you can do to virtually guarantee that vinyl will be profitable for you. I hope you'll join me then. And in the meantime, if you have any vinyl questions, post them in the comments below. I read every comment, I answer many of them, and if it's a good question, who knows? I might make a video out of it. See you next time.